Before a woman comes back, something usually happens first. And most men miss it because they are too busy watching her instead of watching themselves. They are checking her stories. They are trying to guess her mood. They are wondering if she misses them. They are asking friends what she is doing. They are reading every little sign like it is a secret message from the universe. And while they are doing all of that, they miss the one thing that actually changes the whole situation. Before she comes back, you stop chasing, not just with your phone, with your mind. That is the part most men do not understand. You can stop texting and still be chasing. You can go silent and still be chasing. You can say you are in no contact and still spend every night checking if she viewed your story, wondering who she is with, imagining what she is thinking, and secretly waiting for her name to appear on your screen. That is not power. That is emotional waiting. And in a few minutes, you are going to understand the difference between a man who is truly becoming attractive again and a man who is just pretending to be strong while still begging in silence. And before this video ends, you will know what to do when she finally tests the door again, because that is where most men lose everything they worked so hard to rebuild. The first thing that happens before she comes back is not that she suddenly wakes up and realizes you were the one. That may happen later. But first, your energy changes. You stop leaking neediness. You stop sending emotional signals. You stop trying to make her feel something. You stop making your whole life about whether she regrets leaving. And when that happens, the dynamic changes. Because as long as she can feel that you are still waiting, still watching, still available, still emotionally attached to every little move she makes, she does not have to feel the loss fully. She may be gone, but she still has access. She still has your attention. She still has your emotional energy. She still has your mind, and a woman cannot truly miss a man who is still orbiting her life. You cannot be missed if you refuse to become absent. That is the truth. Most men think no contact is about making her panic. It is not. No contact is about removing yourself from a situation where your presence is no longer being valued. It is about protecting your dignity. It is about giving yourself enough space to stop reacting like a man controlled by fear. If she comes back one day, it will not be because you beg better. It will not be because you explain better. It will not be because you found the perfect sentence that unlocked her heart. It will be because something changed. Either she changed, or you changed, or the situation changed. But the only part you control is you. So before she comes back, you must first come back to yourself. That is the part men hate hearing because it gives them responsibility. It takes the focus off her and puts it back on the man in the mirror. And that is where the real work begins. When she leaves, the weak version of you wants to do something immediately. He wants to text. He wants to ask why. He wants closure. He wants reassurance. He wants to know if there is another man. He wants to know if she still cares. He wants to know if there is any chance. But the strong version of you knows something deeper. A woman who wants space must experience space. A woman who chooses distance must experience distance. A woman who goes cold must experience what life is like without your warmth constantly reaching for her. That is not punishment, that is reality. But most men interrupt reality because they are afraid. She pulls away and he chases. She gets colder and he gets more emotional. She ignores him and he writes more. She says she needs space and he turns space into a negotiation. Then he wonders why she does not miss him. How can she miss you when you keep showing up emotionally? How can she wonder about you when you keep explaining where you stand? How can she feel your absence when you never truly leave her alone? This is where attraction starts dying, not because you love her, not because you care, not because you miss her. Those things are human. Attraction dies when your care turns into pressure and your love turns into panic. A woman can feel when a man is calm. She can also feel when a man is pretending to be calm because he wants a reaction. There is a difference. Fake calm says, I am not texting her so she will come back. Real calm says, I am not texting her because I respect myself. Fake silence counts days. Real silence builds identity. Fake no contact waits for her to break. Real self respect stops breaking yourself. That is the shift. And before she comes back, she usually feels that shift. Maybe she does not understand it at first. Maybe she does not talk about it. Maybe she acts like she does not care. But when a man who used to chase suddenly becomes steady, it creates a question in her mind. Why is he not reacting? Why is he not chasing? Did he move on? Is he happier? Was I too quick to leave? Did I lose access to him? That curiosity does not come from manipulation, it comes from contrast. She expected the old version of you, but you did not give it to her. She expected the anxious message, but it never came. She expected the sad post, but you stayed quiet. She expected you to ask mutual friends about her, but you did not. She expected you to compete for her attention, but you stepped back. That is when your absence starts to have weight. But listen carefully. Your absence only has weight if your life is actually moving forward. If you are silent but broken, silent but stalking, silent but bitter, silent but obsessed, the energy is still weak. You do not need to announce weakness for it to control you. It shows in your choices. It shows when you keep checking her profile. It shows when you keep rereading old messages. It shows when you keep planning what you will say if she comes back. It shows when every workout, every post, every change in your life is secretly for her reaction. That is not transformation, that is performance. And performance always collapses when the audience does not clap. Real transformation is different. Real transformation is when you train even if she never sees it. You work even if she never hears about it. You sleep properly even if she never comes back. You rebuild your confidence because you are tired of being controlled by rejection. You stop checking because your peace matters more than curiosity. That is when your energy changes for real. And when your energy changes, your reaction changes. Before she comes back, she may test you. This is another thing most men miss. Sometimes the return is not a big emotional message. Sometimes it is small, very small. She views your story. She likes something. She sends, hey. She asks a random question. She says, hope you're doing well. She replies to something that did not need a reply. And the old version of you sees that tiny sign and loses his mind. He starts overthinking. He tells himself, she misses me. He wants to respond immediately. He wants to open the whole relationship conversation. He wants to say, I knew you would come back. He wants to ask, why did you leave? He wants certainty too fast. And that is how he fails the test because a small signal is not a full return. A view is not love. A like is not accountability. A hey is not commitment. A late night message is not a changed heart. A familiar name on your phone is not proof that the relationship is ready to be rebuilt. So when she tests the door, you do not collapse. You stay calm. You do not punish her. You do not become cold. You do not act arrogant. You simply refuse to treat a small signal like a life changing confession. If she sends, hey, you can respond with calm energy. Hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. Then let her reveal intention. A man with self respect does not chase clarity from vague effort. If she wants a real conversation, she can show that. If she wants to repair something, she can speak with responsibility. If she misses you in a serious way, she can bring more than a tiny hook and expect you to do all the emotional work. That is where your standard must be stronger than your excitement. Because if one small message makes you abandon your center, you are not healed. You are just waiting. That line matters. If one small message makes you abandon your center, you are not healed. You are just waiting, and many men are not healing during no contact. They are waiting with a strategy. They are counting days. They are watching for signs. They are building their life just enough to appear strong. But inside, they are still asking one question every morning: when will she come back? That is not freedom. That is a different kind of prison. Before she comes back in a healthy way, you must stop making her return the measure of your progress. Your progress is not whether she texts. Your progress is whether you can stay calm if she does not. Your progress is not whether she misses you. Your progress is whether you stop missing yourself. Your progress is not whether she regrets leaving. Your progress is whether you no longer need her regret to feel valuable. That is masculine maturity. A boy wants proof from her. A man becomes proof to himself. And that is what makes him dangerous to his old patterns because once a man trusts himself, he stops begging, he stops over explaining, he stops accepting crumbs, he stops chasing people who are unsure, he stops confusing anxiety with love. He stops letting one woman's mood decide his entire day. That is when he becomes stable. And stability is rare. Most people are reactive. They move with every emotion. They chase when they fear loss. They become cold when they feel rejected. They become loud when they feel unseen. They become needy when they feel uncertain. A stable man feels all of that and still chooses his values. He says, I am hurt, but I will not humiliate myself. He says, I miss her, but I will not chase. He says, I want answers, but I will not beg for clarity. He says, I care, but I care about myself too. That balance is powerful. And before she comes back, that balance must become real inside you. Now, let us talk about what may be happening on her side. After she leaves, she may feel relief at first. That does not mean she never cared. It means the pressure is gone, the emotional tension is gone, the difficult conversations are gone, the decision has been made, and sometimes that gives a person a temporary sense of freedom. This is why chasing early is so damaging. If she is in the relief stage and you chase, you become part of what she is relieved to escape. You confirm her decision. You make distance feel safer than connection. You make your presence feel like pressure. So you step back, then time does what your words cannot do. Time removes the emotional noise. Time allows memories to return differently. Time lets her feel the silence. Time lets her compare your absence with what she has now. Time lets her realize whether she misses the connection or only wanted the escape. But time only works if you stop interrupting it. If every week you send something, you reset the process. If every few days you appear, you keep reminding her that you are still emotionally available. If you keep reacting, you keep the old dynamic alive. So stop feeding the old dynamic. Let silence breathe. While silence breathes, build, because the man who waits and the man who builds are not the same man. The man who waits becomes anxious, bitter, and obsessed. The man who builds becomes stronger, calmer, and clearer. The man who waits asks, what is she doing? The man who builds asks, what am I becoming? The man who waits is controlled by her absence. The man who builds uses her absence as space to grow. That is the choice. And this is where your 7 day reset begins. For the next 7 days, do not message her first. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not reread old messages at night. Do not make emotional decisions after midnight. Do not use sadness as an excuse to lose your routine. For 7 days, train your body, clean your space, handle your work, fix your sleep, eat like you respect yourself, drink water, walk when the anxiety hits. Write your thoughts, but do not send them. Pray if faith is part of your life. Build your schedule. Put the phone away before bed. This is not about pretending you are fine. It is about proving you can lead yourself while hurting. That is what creates self trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, confidence returns. Every time you do not text, confidence returns. Every time you do not check, confidence returns. Every time you choose discipline over panic, confidence returns. Confidence is not something you think into existence. Confidence is evidence. You need evidence that you can trust yourself when emotions get heavy, because if you cannot trust yourself after she leaves, you will not trust yourself when she comes back. And if she comes back, that is when the real test begins. Most men think the hard part is getting her to reach out. No, the hard part is staying centered when she does, because her return can feel like a drug. One message can bring back all the feelings. One soft sentence can make you forget the pain. One I miss you can make you ignore months of confusion. One familiar voice can make you lower standards you promised you would never lower again. Do not let nostalgia make decisions for you. Nostalgia remembers the good and edits out the cost. It remembers how she laughed. It forgets how you felt when she went cold. It remembers the warm nights. It forgets the lonely ones. It remembers chemistry. It forgets confusion. It remembers potential. It forgets patterns. A grounded man does not let nostalgia blind him. He can appreciate the good without ignoring reality. So if she reaches out, ask yourself one question before you respond. What kind of man am I about to be? The old man or the new man, the anxious man or the grounded man, the man who waited or the man who rebuilt, the man who needs her or the man who can observe her? That question will save you, because if the old man responds, he will overdo it. He will reply too fast. He will write too much. He will try to secure her. He will ask what she wants. He will bring up the past too soon. He will turn a small conversation into emotional pressure. The new man does not do that. The new man is warm but controlled. He is open but not desperate. He is kind but not blind. He listens but does not surrender. He observes. That is the key. A woman coming back must be observed, not worshipped. You watch the reason, you watch the effort, you watch the consistency. You watch whether she takes responsibility or only wants attention. You watch whether her words are backed by actions, because not every return is love. Sometimes she comes back because she is lonely. Sometimes she comes back because the other option failed. Sometimes she comes back because she wants to know if you still care. Sometimes she comes back because guilt is sitting on her chest. Sometimes she comes back because she genuinely reflected. Sometimes she comes back because she misses the comfort, not the commitment. These are very different reasons. And if you are starving emotionally, you will treat all of them like love. That is why you must be full in yourself before you reopen any door. A hungry man accepts crumbs. A grounded man waits for clarity. So when she returns, do not ask, how do I keep her? Ask, is this return healthy for the man I have become? That question changes everything because maybe she came back, but she still brings the same confusion. Maybe she came back, but she still avoids accountability. Maybe she came back, but she only texts at night. Maybe she came back, but she disappears when you ask a clear question. Maybe she came back, but your nervous system feels unstable again. Do not ignore that. Your peace is information. Your body often knows when a pattern is returning before your mind admits it. If her return brings clarity, respect, consistency, and accountability, move slowly. If her return brings confusion, anxiety, vagueness, and old games, step back. That is not punishment, that is protection. A man with self respect does not punish women for leaving. He simply does not give easy access to someone who has not shown real change. That is a mature boundary. And boundaries are not speeches. A boundary is not, you better respect me. A boundary is, if respect is missing, I will step back. A boundary is not, you need to choose me now. A boundary is, I will not compete for someone's uncertainty. A boundary is not, you cannot leave me. A boundary is, if you leave, I will not chase you into loving me. That is the kind of energy that changes the dynamic. Before she comes back, she may sense that energy. She may sense that the door is no longer wide open. She may sense that your attention is no longer automatic. She may sense that you are not the same man who used to panic at distance. She may sense that if she returns, she cannot control you with small signals anymore. That is why some women test first. They do not come directly with a full apology. They send a small message. They watch your reaction. They see if the old version of you is still there. And if he is, attraction can fade again because if she can pull the old desperate version out of you with one text, she knows you did not really change. But if you stay steady, everything feels different. Not because you are trying to impress her, because you are finally leading yourself. Leadership is not only for business, money, or life direction. A man must lead his own emotions. He must lead his own attention. He must lead his own habits. He must lead his own response to pain. If he cannot lead himself, heartbreak will lead him. And heartbreak is a terrible leader. It will lead you into stalking. It will lead you into begging. It will lead you into overthinking. It will lead you into accepting less. It will lead you into calling anxiety love. You must become the leader. That means you stop giving your attention to things that weaken you. If checking her profile makes you spiral, stop calling it curiosity. It is self harm to your peace. If rereading old messages makes you want to beg, stop calling it reflection. It is emotional relapse. If posting for her reaction keeps you tied to her, stop calling it confidence. It is performance. If asking friends about her keeps the wound open, stop calling it information. It is addiction. Tell yourself the truth. The truth will hurt less than the cycle, and the truth is simple. Before she comes back, you must become less available to your old weakness. That is what she feels. Not just your silence, your strength, because silence without strength is just waiting. Silence with strength is self respect. And self respect has a different energy. It does not beg. It does not explain too much. It does not chase. It does not compete. It does not perform. It does not punish. It simply stands. That is the man you are becoming. Now, there is something important you need to understand. She may never come back. And that truth must not destroy the lesson because the lesson is not act strong so she returns. The lesson is become strong because your life requires it. If she comes back, you need strength. If she does not come back, you still need strength. If she misses you, you need strength. If she moves on, you need strength. If she texts tomorrow, you need strength. If she never texts again, you need strength. Your growth cannot depend on her choice. That is the difference between a tactic and a transformation. A tactic says, I will improve so she comes back. A transformation says, I will improve because I refuse to abandon myself again. That is the frame. And when that frame becomes real, everything changes. You stop making desperate decisions. You stop lowering standards because you are lonely. You stop accepting vague me messages as proof of love. You stop competing with men you do not need to compete with. You stop treating her return as the only happy ending. You become a man with direction, and a man with direction is hard to pull back into chaos. He may still care. He may still miss her. He may still remember, but he is not controlled by it. That is emotional freedom. So if you are waiting for the thing that happens before she comes back, look at yourself first. Are you still checking?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still chasing mentally? Are you still posting for her? Are you still hoping every notification is her? Are you still building your life around her return? If yes, then the real work has not started yet. But the moment you stop chasing, something begins. You feel pain, but you stop obeying it. You miss her, but you stop reaching. You wonder about her, but you stop investigating. You remember the past, but you stop living there. You want her return, but you stop needing it. That is when you become powerful again. That is when your absence becomes real. That is when your energy changes. That is when the old dynamic breaks. And that is often what happens before she comes back. Not always, not as a guarantee, but as a pattern. People feel when access is gone. People feel when energy changes. People feel when someone who used to chase has finally stepped back with dignity. But by the time she feels it, you should already be focused on becoming the man you respect, because the strongest position is not waiting for her return. The strongest position is being ready for your own future. If she comes back, you respond from calm. If she does not, you keep building. If she comes with clarity, you listen. If she comes with confusion, you step back. If she shows consistency, you observe. If she shows old patterns, you protect your peace. That is how a man moves. He is not cruel. He is not needy. He is not bitter. He is not blind. He is grounded. So tonight, do not sit there wondering if she is about to come back. Come back to yourself. Put the phone down. Stop checking. Stop waiting. Stop performing. Stop turning every silence into a prediction. Train, work, sleep, pray, walk, build, write your thoughts, and keep your dignity. Let your life become bigger than the woman who left it. Because if she comes back, she should meet a stronger man. And if she never comes back, you should still become that stronger man. That is the win. The real thing that happens before she comes back is not magic. It is not a secret line. It is not a perfect message. It is the moment you stop acting like a man who needs her return to be whole. You become calm. You become disciplined. You become less available to chaos. You become harder to control. You become more focused on your purpose. You become more protective of your peace. You become the man who can be missed because he finally knows how to be absent. And when a woman feels that shift, she may look back. She may wonder. She may test the door. She may return. But by then, you are no longer the same man waiting on the other side. You are standing in your own life. And that is the point, because after she leaves, the question is not, will she come back? The question is, who do I become while she is gone? Become the man who does not chase. Become the man who does not collapse. Become the man who can love deeply without begging. Become the man who turns silence into strength, pain into standards, and loss into direction. And in the next video, you will learn exactly how to respond when she finally reaches out, what to say, what not to say, and how to stay calm when her message tests the man you became.